Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. You know what I'm about to say. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I hope you guys did. I miss you too. So once again, auntie with the with the equipment. First of all, let me say thank you for all your birthday wishes, well wishes. As of Monday, I am leveled up 41. Shout out to all the Libras. Y'all better go. Y'all better go. But I really thank you for all your birthday wishes. And man, 41, let me tell you about 41 before I hop into this message. Monday was my birthday, and I was sitting up there and I was like, I was quiet. Usually I'm very boastful. I'm very, hyped up because it's Libra season. And, they say Libras do too much. I don't think so. We don't do too much. We don't do too much. But I was sitting up there and I was thinking, I'm like, wow, I'm 41. And a lot of people my age don't make it to 41 with everything that is going on in this crazy, crazy, crazy world. If you hear some noise in the background, I'm actually recording from my phone. So Riverside was tripping, include my phone, but that's neither here nor there. What I realized being 41 was that time is precious, and you have to prioritize whether it's getting your finances together or it's getting life insurance or putting a will together, and even health. Before I hopped on this podcast, I was working out and I was a little bummed out when I found out my birthday was on a Monday because I was thinking Monday is one of my most hated days. It was my babe told me that it's supposed to rain that day. And I'm like, "Ah, it's on a Monday and it's raining." So I decided and I was praying, and the Spirit told me that this is you raining down blessings. Watch what I do for the rest of the week. And that's what's going to happen in the last quarter. So shout out to all my Libras. Shout out to all my 40 and fine babies. And we just gonna hop right into it, set off to left and right. As I said, happy birthday to all my October people. We take up the whole month, but happy birthday to you. So today's topic is respect, believe, and achieve. This is LVG. And I will go into what is LVG. If you're not from Memphis, you'll know what LVG is. What LVG is Lakeview Gardens, as you see my shirt. Respect, believe, and achieve. I am LVG. That was our colors. And I grew up in Lakeview Gardens. And it was a small community within the Memphis area. And let me break it down so it can ever consistently be broke. LVG is not Westwood. LVG is not Whitehaven. We stand on our own as LVG, Lakeview Gardens. If you know, now you know. And one thing I love about my community is that we had a lot of people that were essential to our upbringing. And one thing I love about my community is that we were small and big at the same time. Have you ever had that one neighborhood where everybody knew everybody? And I came from the old school where if you got in trouble, you gonna go down the street, they gonna whoop your ass, the neighbor gonna whoop your ass. By the time you get to your mama or your grandmama or your dad or your grandpa, They gonna whoop your ass. So with preparation with this segment, I think of the Stephanie Mills song "Home." And for those who don't know the song, I'll sing a little bit because it is when I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall, they have a meaning. Sprinkling the seas makes it all clear. That's a little bit. And that song sums up home for me. I was born in the 80s. I lived at 374. I can't tell you the address. 374. And show you how tight knit we were. I lived on 374. Up the street and around the corner was my god brother Chris. And then you turn into a cove. That's where my girls Misha and Sinitra stayed at. And then you come out that cove, go down that street. That's where my girl Allison. And then if you go up a street, then that was my girl Tasha. Growing up at 374, we we lived in a small house, but the love was so big. In this small house, I had me, all of my siblings, my brother, my older sister, and then my little sister came along later on down, my grandmother, my mom, and my auntie for the time being. All those people in one house, one 2-bedroom house. And it felt so filled with love that I didn't even think I was poor. I didn't realize I was poor until I went to White Haven, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I didn't realize that I was poor because my grandmother, she just poured into me, Lily Mae Johnson, aka Ain't Chinese, for some people that know. And my grandmother would sit on her porch. She will be in her garden in her gown, and everybody like, "Hey, Miss Johnson. Hey, how you doing?" And she had friends, like one of my longtime best friends in the whole wide world. Parents stayed right next door to us too. Well, I'm not gonna say God auntie, my auntie Sheila and Charmaine and Miss Norman. And she would sit out on her porch, talk, and give advice. And my grandmother she didn't bite her tongue. She did not bite her tongue for anybody. And everybody in my neighborhood and in my family know me as T, T-E, T-E. They know me as T. And with that, I had a community. I had love, some of the things that my grandmother taught me because I was always up under my grandmother. And she taught me so much. She taught me how to show compassion. She taught me how to love. She taught me how to pray. My first prayer my grandmama taught me was the Lord's Prayer, and she would make us say it every day. And, seeing my mom, and, she's teaching me things as well. And, Cindy, and I can go on and on. But if you really want to know who T is Lakeview Gardens. I'm proud to say I'm from Lakeview Gardens. That's T. And I take my my way of telling stories from my mom and my grandmother. So let's go ahead and go down memory lane of LVG. So as I said, I went to Lakeview Elementary. As you see, our school colors and our motto: respect, believe, and achieve. Went to Lakeview Elementary. And my first person that I ever met in Miss Moss class was my girl Misha. And I was just, a girl that had four eyes and, you know, was a nerd. I'm going to say it. I was a whole nerd, gangster nerd to be exact. And when I got to Lakeview, my kindergarten year, um, I would say all the way up to my third grade year, it was so much going on. And I suffer from low self esteem. I suffer from low self esteem all the way up to be honest, all the way up to post divorce because I didn't think I was pretty enough. I didn't think I was smart enough. I felt like I need to hide behind makeup. Felt like I need to hide behind wigs. And you see me now, no hair. Shout out to Maurice. And uh, this is all me. No filter. This is me. And I remember relating to the story called The Ugly Duckling. The ugly duckling was this duck that everybody made fun of, that was different, and the duck felt like it didn't belong. And then finally it became a swan, which is above the pack. And I suffer with that. And one thing that I have heard that some of your core memories happen the first 5 years of your life. I didn't know that. I just found that out today. Your basic values happen within the first 5 years of your life. And I came to a realization that I, I was ugly. I felt like I was ugly. It was my mom, my grandmother, and my other mother, Cindy, that told me that I was beautiful and I was talented and I was smart. But I couldn't believe that because I had, you know, it was people in my school that made money, who family came from wealth or their family carried a name. I didn't have a name. Nobody really knew me. I was just, a girl that stayed at 374 with a bunch of people. And so I decided to one day make a name for myself. And uh this is how I got into singing. I was um I was in the living room and it's this song by Sky called Sexy. They say I'm sexy, and I was singing it in front of my grandmother. Now, need I mind you, my grandmother was president of the motherboard. So she was, no secular music in my house. Nuh-uh, we ain't having no secular music in my house. So my first song that she taught me was Jesus is the Light. Jesus is the light that shineth in me, that shineth in me. That was my first song at 5 years old that I sung in front of the church and tore the church up. Thus started me singing, even though I am a retired singer. I keep telling people I'm retired. They don't get it. I'm retired. I'm retired. What I remember was I had a great feeling when I sung. I felt free. I felt, you know, accepted because of my voice, even though my exterior didn't or my interior matched it. But anytime I got behind a mic, I felt confident. Everything just melted away. And I have to give shout out to a teacher that is no longer here with us who saw that raw talent of me in me. And that is Mr. Marlon Branch. And what I'm going to do in honor of him, we just going to have a quick moment of silence for Mr. Branch. All right. So Rest in heaven, Mr. Branch. You have touched a lot of kids. And Mr. Branch was my music teacher because you couldn't get in choir to like fourth grade, third grade, fourth grade. And we had a Christmas concert coming up. And back in my day, we had sponsors. I don't know if the kids have it again now. We have sponsors. And our sponsor was Red Lobster off of Elvis Presley and some other sponsors. So we would always go sing Christmas carols and everything. So it was this it was this audition for CC Winans' version of Silver Bells. Now, only fifth graders got solos. Fourth graders, we just kind of played the background, except for one student that got a solo. I ain't gonna say his name. I ain't gonna say his name, but let me know. I'm gonna let you know he's killing it right now. He sung White Christmas, and I'm gonna get back to him. Um, so I auditioned for the solo part of Silver Bells. And I took the tape, I listened to it, I listened to it, I listened to it. And when I auditioned, need I mind you, only fifth graders got solos. I auditioned and landed. I landed. And baby, when I said I got the side eye, I got, ooh, I was being hated on so much. But that was the only thing I could actually lean on where I felt free, where I felt, the love. And anything outside of that, I just felt empty. But the love of my community helped me to be strong. Even though I was in school, in elementary, I still dealt with bullying. I still dealt with, people calling me out my name. I still dealt with, you know, certain people that I had a crush on that didn't like me. But when I came home, I felt accepted. I had friends that we would meet up in the and let me tell you, where I stayed at, it seemed like it was the meeting spot because my house that I lived in, it was like in the middle of the street. And it was the meeting place for everybody. My brother would play basketball in the backyard. So everybody from the neighborhood would come to the backyard. And me and my friends be in the street playing, riding our big wheels. And then we got fancy and we went to a 10 speed, you know what I'm talking about. And I felt like this is where I could relax. This is where I could lay my head down. This is a place when I said it was so much love in that community, it shaped me to the person who I am. That's very compassionate, that's, shows empathy, that is a friend, a ride or die friend, and I am that person that is going to tell it like it TI is. Thus, why I am using my platform to tell it like it TI is. And at Lakeview Elementary, we had this principal named Dr. Yarbrough. My bro, brother Yarbrough, even though he had doctor in front of it. And baby, Dr. Yarbrough, he had the baddest stuttering problem. But he was a good man and he instilled some values in us. So back to Lakeview Elementary. Another thing that happened was big major event, the talent show. And anybody could, Mayday, the talent show, it was like American Idol for us on steroids. It was like everybody was going to audition, whether it's singing, dancing, spoken word, or, you know, just, just being themselves in this little small stage. And my song, everybody was singing these kind of old songs and, something that was current. So I was really trying to impress this guy. I was the guy that I was just head over heels with. Like, soon as I saw him, I was just like, this me. This me. I don't give a damn. This is me. And I was singing some Stephanie Mills, something in the way you make me feel. Now, I need to remind you, took my sister's tape. I'm sorry, Tina, I took your tape. Took my sister's tape, played it, and I sung to him because I felt like you gotta know what I'm feeling. But like I said before, singing made me feel free. Singing made me feel like I am somebody, like all the insecurities and all the pressure and things that was going on in my household. Anytime I picked up that mic and I sung, everything that's melt away. And I want to encourage the young people today, whether you're in elementary school all the way up to college, do something that makes you feel good and makes you feel free. Whether it's drawing, whether it's writing poetry, whether it's dancing, or whether it's singing. The thing that makes you free helps you get through this thing called life. And unfortunately, I didn't make it. So let's fast forward to another year. Let's fast forward to another year. My sister decided to get a girl group together. She was the Ike Turner of all of us. So it was me, Allison, Misha, and Allison's cousin, Marquita. I hope I ain't mess up her name, Allison. Um, and we said, okay, we gonna audition as a group. Once again, same guy on my mind, same guy I had a crush on. It was that whole thing of, you're gonna love me, kind of like Effie, you're gonna love me. So we sung this song by Pure Soul called Don't Know Nothing Until You Know That I Love You. Now, need I remind you, everybody's singing on tracks. We did this a cappella. Hear me in the spirit. We are every bit of fifth grade. Yeah, that's when all the girl groups was the bomb. That's when all the girl groups was the bomb. TLC, SWV, Brownstone, Cut Close. I can go on and on. So everybody's singing on tracks, like actual tapes and singing over it. These four little girls got on that stage. And one thing, Mr. Branch was like the host, and he would say, like, this group is from, Minneapolis, and this group is from Atlanta, kind of like a whole kind of Showtime at the Apollo kind of thing. And we sung If You Don't Know Nothing Till You Know That I Love You, a cappella. And we was on key. We was on key. And everybody in the audience was like, so of course I had the last verse because I will always want to go last. And this is another talent that I discovered that I didn't know. I could actually hear parts. And what I would do, which Tina would get upset, was I would sing everybody's part. I was sing, and it's a gift. It's a gift. Not everybody could hear different parts or certain things. It was a total gift. So this is how the breakdown went. So it started off me, tenor. Don't, don't, don't know nothing, don't. Don't know nothing, don't know nothing. I think that was Misha's part. You don't know nothing. And need I remind you, no music. Allison, you don't know nothing. Yeah. Now, need I remind you, we are pretty much everybody in the audience, like, even my principal, even the teachers, like, now, need I remind you, once again, singing to this guy that's not giving me the time or day. And at that time, he was a complete asshole, but he's done a 180 with me, and I'm proud of him. And, so on and so forth. And I just felt like, damn, this is what I can do. I can do it good. And I had like many teachers, like Miss Lester, that taught me the beautiful way of writing when I had to write my essay about Josephine Baker back in 5th grade. And a lot of people don't understand. You had teachers that were there that actually cared and poured into their students. And I know that the times have changed and being teachers have changed. But I promise you, that's what we're lacking in this world is now, I'm not saying all teachers. It's some teachers that are trying to pour into students. But here is where we have messed up as a community. When I was growing up, where being in school and parenting started or teaching started at home. This is what y'all know. Y'all can say it with me. Look at here. You go to school, you do your schoolwork, and you don't act no damn fool. Everybody had their own version of it. And that's what, we was taught. And when we went to school, it was all about, focusing on doing schoolwork and then not embarrassing your family name. Like if you had a popular name and you was acting a fool, soon as that parent teacher conference came up, or possibly one of your neighbors or whatever, hear about it. That's an automatic ass whooping. Uh, but I feel like that's what's missing is a community that says we got each other's back. We are all we got. And I wasn't too proud to beg next door and said, "Hey, do you got some bread or some bologna?" And I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. Hell, I didn't have a spoon at all. And I felt like those times molded me into the person that I am because with growing up with nothing, you appreciate everything that you get. You appreciate everything. And I felt like when I was in a community, I was loved by everybody on that street. I was loved by everybody. And you don't know how that makes a child feel when they feel like I can come back to a community and be myself and belong and strive for things in my life that, was impossible. And that's where the values of respect, believe, and achieve. You respect your elders, you respect your teachers, but most importantly, you respect yourself. Believe that you can do the impossible no matter what people say, even your family, even if the odds are stacked against you. Believe that you can do better, that you can be a beacon of light and achieve, which is the final thing. Once you got respect down pat, once you got believe down pat, then you can go into the world and achieve anything that you want. And I'm a living testament to that. And I feel like the basis of my life is Lakeview Gardens because Lakeview Gardens made tea, not Tiffany, but tea. And I had the love and support of elders, and I used to sit at the foot. I was attached to my grandmother back in the day. Wherever you saw her, you saw me. And I would sit on the porch and listen to all the wisdom that was shared and, the valuable lessons that I was taught. And I feel like that's what's missing today. And I'm telling young people, listen to your elders. They been where you been. They walk the roads that you can, take your time. They have set a standard for how you should act and behave. But in the recent times, we just lost it. And that's why we have children out there that feels like I ain't got nothing to lose. I was brought up in poverty. This is where I'll stay at, and then I'll become a menace to society. And let's break it down so it'll ever consistently be broke. Young people. I'm speaking as an elder. Be careful who you choose to roll with. I've seen many of my friends in the past get caught up in things with rolling with the wrong crowd. And I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I know, what's the litmus test to see if this person was cool enough to hang around with? This is how your folks used to do. I know my folks did. Oh, who is that? Who they people? And then after you tell them they people, they name, if they were good, they be like, oh, okay, I know they grandmother and mother and, grandfather, uncle, or whatever. That was the litmus test. But if you said that person's name, for example, when you said that person name and my grandmama did like this, no expression at all, or say, don't hang out with them. They crazy as hell. They uncle did this, they mama strung out. And that's what we're missing nowadays. Not asking, who are you? Okay, let me meet you. And even if they didn't know them, they would say, okay, let me meet your folks. And my grandma would call them to the porch. And I've seen my grandmama, oh my God, her porch was the meeting place of the neighborhood. She could sit down and talk to anybody. And I'm going to share a story how deep my grandmama love was. So I think it was like third or fourth grade. I can't remember. We had a guy that moved next door to us. And word on the curb is that he moved weight. And he always would have all these guys over and, they be outside and, you could tell the dope boys back in the day. Now it's kind of like, but you could tell the dope boys back in the day. And it was this guy, he was every bit of like tall. I won't say his name. He was every bit of tall. And it was one day I was playing and he sat on the porch. And at first he was like this, just standing up. And then he got like this. And, I'm the nosy person out the family. They still call me Claudia Barr, which is my idol. And I'm still Claudia Barr. And he started sitting like this. And then it looks like he was crying and my grandmother was patting him. And I'm like, wow, this 6-foot dude that I know is moving weight is sitting up there crying on my grandmother's shoulder. And ever since then, and he told her that he lost his mom and she was like his mom. And he will always, and even she got all the dope boys respect. Oh, my grandma was an OG. She got all the dope boys respect. They'll come in, with their cars, and the first thing, if she's sitting out on her porch, hey, mama, how you doing? And she be like, hey, baby, how you doing? You staying out of trouble? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Every one of them. Hey, mama, how you doing? Oh, can you get me some? Yes, ma'am. Hardcore dope boys that my grandma, each and every one of them said, addressed her as mama. As mama. And my grandmother's place was the meeting place for everybody in my family. I promise you, right hand before the man. When I say it was somebody at my grandmother's house every day, I mean there was somebody there every day. That's why she instilled in us to make sure your house is clean because you don't know if somebody's coming over. And I be damned. Somebody was coming over. Even the family was coming over. It was the meeting spot. And my grandmother just poured so much love, but she gonna tell you how you feel, how she feel, whether you like it or not. And I feel like that's one of the values that I have, that I am that person where I'm gonna tell you how I feel, whether you like it or not. And I'm gonna check myself before I tell you how I feel. And you could take it as, she being mean or damn, she dropping some knowledge. But it was my grandmother and followed by my mom, and most importantly, my mom Cindy. My mom Cindy loved me from the day, from what I was told, from the day she got me, she just held me in my arms and said, "This is my poo." They used to call me Winnie the Pooh because I had a big stomach. "This is my poo." And she just took me everywhere. She disciplined me. Oh my God, if y'all know Cindy, oh my God, my friends can vouch for that. When Cindy came on the scene, everybody straightened up. I think everybody still straightened up when they see Cindy. That's the respect that she had. Everybody would do this. Oh, Cindy here, Cindy here. Here is where go back. We respected our elders. We respected people. When somebody give us something, we say, thank you. Or when somebody talk to us, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Even when my daughter was young and somebody did something for her, I look at her and I say, what do you say? And she would like, thank you. Or, when she's talking to somebody, and she still do it to this day, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. And with the people now, they feel like you shouldn't say sir or you shouldn't say ma'am. That's showing respect. And I feel like that's what we're missing today is respect. Respecting people that has walked this walk before you even was thought of. And I feel like with, elders, is so many of us, so many of the elders still left. And I encourage you, soak some of their wisdom. Get to know about your family history. Oh, that is so important. Let me put my hand down on this. With your elders, get to know your family history. Get to know your family history. Like, where did your family originated from? Who's, this and who's that? And my family, oh my God, my mom's side of the family, we could probably fit everybody at, let's see, I don't know if y'all remember the Coliseum. We could probably fit everybody the first 4 rows of the Coliseum because my grandmother had 11 brothers and 3 sisters, and they all had kids. So, I got to know my family. I got to know, where I came from. I got to know what values that were instilled in my family. And what I came to realize was my grandmother was the matriarch of the family. She was the matriarch for all her brothers and brothers' kids and, sister and sister kids. And, in my family, we call, in my mom's side of the family, they call her Aunt Chinese. And they used to call my mom Tainchi. But it was always whatever Aunt Chinese need, they was gonna do it for her. And that's how I model my life, even with my mom's side of the family right now. I try to serve as the bridge between all of us. And I want to say to my mom's side of the family, hats off, salute. I love each and every one of you. Y'all, I'm even proud of my little cousins that I knew that was, babies. And, growing up, which making me feel old, but I'm not old. I leveled up 41. And that's where I learned my values. And then I believed later on in myself where I know that I can become something. And let me tell y'all something, a little secret. As I mentioned, I was Claudia Barr of the family. I'm still Claudia Barr of the family. And my idol is Claudia Barr. Watching her on Channel 5, Channel 3 with the bun and, very stoic and delivering the news. And I was like, okay, I want to do that one day, which pushed me in the beginning to be a broadcast journalist. That was my passion. Journalism is still today my passion. And I end up, going into public relations. And I was talking to my friend Allison. And I said, wow, I done did a full circle. This is journalism. I am on the screen talking on a microphone and speaking to the public across the world. And so I believed one day that I will be on television or I'll be in radio because I have this voice that's very silky and smooth. And, some of the guys told me that, but I think they was front, just trying to get my number. So I believed in myself to say, hey, one day I am going to make it. I know that I am going to make it and leave my name in the history books so you can forever remember me. And that is still my dream right now that I am living in. That's full circle. And now I have achieved it. Here's my achievements. I said I was going to go to college, get my bachelor's in journalism. There you go, right there. Then I was going to start a business, which I had a business at one point in time. Now, getting married, that was everybody's dream. But if I can go back, I'd be like, hell no. And I said one day I'm going to get my master's, which I did. I did get my master's. So those are the things I have achieved. And I encourage you to follow these values and instill these values in your kids because that's what we're missing right now. If we can go by the motto of respect, believe, and achieve, the world will be such a better place from till now, taking the lessons from back then and applying them now. That will save this generation. And that's what I'm trying to speak. That take the values from yesterday and instill it in our kids right now, because that is what's going to save this generation. You know how Whitney Houston said, I believe the children are our future? I remember saying, I like, if the children are our future, then we got to pray. But I'm encouraging you to respect yourself. As always, respect others. And when I say respect yourself, meaning carry yourself in a way where people could see your light and not judge you. To say, oh my God, this young lady, this young man has respect. This young queen, this young king has respect not only for him or herself, but for everybody else, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you have a minimum wage job, or whether you are making six figures. Respect everybody. And this is what we're lacking in this world. Nobody has respect for each other. Nobody has respect for, their personal views. We're just disrespecting everybody. And being disrespectful is a crime. Forget, everything that's going on with violence. Being disrespectful is a crime because it's attached to your name. And if you're disrespectful, then people are going to look at you a certain way. And believe in yourself. As they say in the Bible, faith without works is dead. Believe in yourself. If you got a dream, if you got a mission, or if you got an idea, push towards it. And here's the thing, you may have to walk alone. But believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, then everybody could see that. And here's the thing, you might inspire someone else to push towards that idea. That's why I have this platform, because I am teaching people that it's okay to share your opinion despite what's going on this crazy, crazy, crazy world. You have to believe in yourself. And like I said, be prepared that everybody's not going to believe in you. But as long as you believe yourself, that's all you need. Everybody will follow along. Trust me. Everybody going to follow along. And once you believe, go and get it and achieve. Go and get it and achieve. So I am wrapping to a close, but I I love LVG all day, every day. As you see, I got my red lipstick on in honor of my neighborhood. And I feel like if it wasn't for that community, if it wasn't for the love that my grandmother showed me, I would be a whole nother different person. I would be a mess with myself. So I am encouraging you to find a community. And if you have a community, of a vibrant community, sit down at the feet of the elders and listen. Because when I say that, and there's some elders I still listen to right now that's steady dropping wisdom, because that's what made us millennials the way that we are, because we sat down and listened to our elders. And like I said, I feel like that's what's missing today. It's missing. So thank you for listening. And like I said, this is part 1 of the evolution of tea. And the next segment, I will be talking about one of my favorite times, and that is at Jeter Middle School, or AKA Jeter High, Jeter Junior High, where I was a rock star. But I want to say from the bottom of my heart and the depths of my soul, I thank you guys for supporting me, whether you know it or not. This is actually my 4th year podcasting. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like nobody would hear me. I felt like my opinion didn't matter. And the fact that I believe that, okay, I have a story to tell. Maybe it will encourage somebody else to tell their story. And one thing I could say where I'm at right now is I am happy with the person that I'm looking back at. I am happy of the trials and tribulations that I have endured. I am happy that right now that I am going forth with my passion. I am happy to be leveled up 41, and I'm gonna ride this till the wheels fall off. So that's where I'm at right now. I am happy. I found my smile again. And it's all because of the love that I was given by this small community, this small neighborhood called Lakeview Garden. So I thank you for listening. And as I always say, you, yes, you, you. And you too. You have the right to tell your story. Don't give anyone the right to tell it for you. Peace and blessings. I holla.